Last Saturday, we lost. What happened to us? Good
Uh,
grief.
Number one, I think at the very start, I thought they were overplaying, trying too hard. You know what I'm saying? It was just it came out and they were trying to just overplaying it, and I don't like it when they teams come out and start trying to just flog up threes and that kind of stuff. I always want you come out instead of trying to establish threes outside, get it inside, do some damage inside, then kick it out and that kind of stuff. So, but I thought it was a lot of over effort to a certain extent, and then it just kind of just kept going and going, and it was really going nowhere. I mean, you kept expecting a run and a significant run, and they did, but it was nothing. There was no point where you felt like they were going to be able to overtake the game, and so I thought that, and also the standing around Alabama when they start doing the park and rec. I got the ball, so I'm on my time to score, and you could tell it was some of it was so predetermined that one of the players they'd catch the ball and they were going to try to score. There was not going to be any offense. There was not going to be any movement and setting screens. Now, there were times they were setting screens. Don't get me wrong, and trying to set up, but there were way too many times it was just you knew the guy was going. He had the ball in his hands. You knew he was going to try to create something and that kind of stuff. And it just got, and a lot of just point blank. I mean, just right there at the rim and couldn't make it happen. I thought early it was just a lot of over effort and pushing, just pressing yourself and team pressing. But then later in the game, it was just could not sustain any type of momentum. It'd be a great couple of drives and then go down the third time, and it was just, what are we doing? And when they start everybody's standing outside and somebody's going to create, and I didn't like it. And on that night, Auburn was more relaxed. I
Yeah.
thought I thought it came down. Alabama was just too hyped and pressing themselves, and Auburn was just more relaxed and into the flow of the game. But it was hard
Well,
to watch, Jack. Basketball is getting more and more. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it's getting harder to watch. I mean, Broom, he gets the ball, and it's like old Shaq, just bounce and push back, toward the goal and whatever, and they're not going to call anything. And then, I mean, so many hack 'em, whack 'em, it's like, hack-a-mole, whack-a-mole, or something like that, just arms everywhere. And it's just, I don't like the state of the game, and I'm going to tell you what. This is my theory, and other people can say what they want, but I think the players have gotten too big. All right, I mean this is large. When Highsmith, Naismith, excuse me, designed the game. I mean players were much shorter, and now they're just humongous. And so I think if you want to, just make it more competitive, you got to expand the court. Got to make it bigger. It's too small. I mean, we got guys flogging up threes from half court. You watch an NBA game? I mean, it's a joke. There's not really much to watch.
yeah. But
I
Mark
think they.
Sears, I noticed where he was making a couple threes. I was like, oh man, he's bringing his inner Steph Curry. It's like, well, maybe that could save the day for us. But the stat that I've noticed from the Alabama Auburn game from Saturday, we never led once at any point in the game. We
I did.
never led at all.
Mhm. Well, that was like opening of the game, coming down, flogging up threes, pressing. And then you see Auburn coming down, they're relaxed. Bruce Pearl, even though, he's very animated on the sideline, and sometimes that'll carry over to your players on the court and that kind of stuff. If you get too agitated, they get too agitated. But it seemed like he's very dynamic, and so is Nate Oates. And but the players were a lot more relaxed on the Auburn side, a lot more relaxed, and just seemed a lot smoother and just not pressing. So don't get me wrong. I think Alabama, when they play Auburn again, will do a lot better job. I don't know. Depends on how they play on the road that night or
Hey,
whatever.
maybe we could be a number 1-2 matchup again. Like that'd
Could
be
happen. Alabama only dropped to 4, but and like we talked earlier, you're always going as a basketball season is so long. You're always going to lay an egg, and Alabama's laid 3. The Ole Miss was the big one, but the Auburn game they laid an egg, and so didn't pan out for them. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Bottom line is it's getting in the tournament and then survive in advance. Jim Valvano, survive in advance.
But it's funny though, because it's like 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, nobody's sitting there thinking about, oh, Alabama, Auburn, number 1 and number 2 in college basketball. Even though, like, because it's like I said last week, regardless of who wins or loses, this is great for the state of Alabama.
It is.
It shows people we are good at something other than football. And
Exactly.
a little stat that I've got for Auburn, Alabama, is Auburn is the first AP number 1 team to win an in-state top 2 matchup. And another stat from Bruce Pearl is this is the second time they've won a number 1, number 2 matchup. The first time was in February of 2008 when he was coaching Tennessee against John Calipari's Memphis team. That was when Tennessee was number 2. Memphis was number 1 at that time. So it's like Bruce Pearl's winning both of them.
Yeah. I saw that too, and kudos to him. I mean, been there, done that. So it's hard to do it twice, 3 and 4 times. I mean, it's especially at that elite level. So kudos to that. I say, and that's a little nugget to remember when you vote for the Hall of Fame. He's done it twice. And it may, we'll see if it happens the 3rd time. Alabama, hopefully that inspired Alabama to play better and do better. And I think Alabama's okay on the road. I don't see them caving. I mean, they lost Purdue early. Was it Purdue? And then Ole Miss, they're losing at home. I think they played pretty good on the road. Evidently, they're a little less stressed and a little more loose on the road.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a good chance it might happen again. And I hope they play well. And who knows what's going to happen in the SEC tournament, that kind of stuff. But we're down to it. It's March Madness. With a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks away to March Madness.
Agreed. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in March Madness.
Yeah. Hopefully Auburn will remember Yale.
I hope we see like Alabama and Auburn go against one another in March Madness. That'd be something.
Yeah. Well, if they do well, I don't know what the factor in the SEC tournament will be on the, the top 4 seeding and stuff like that. But hopefully they're lucky enough to stay away from each other, on the sides of the bracket and not have to play early and maybe, play later on and work their way to that. But it'll be who knows if they wind up on the same side of the bracket, depending on how they play in the end and out.
Well, I mean, with the way the SEC is going, it would not be surprising if we see a whole lot of teams getting in to the point where we see a round of 32 matchup.
Yeah, well, you got Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Alabama in the top 4, so 3 SEC teams.
That's huge.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, funny enough, we're going to play Florida on March 5th.
Now, Auburn's our last SEC game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, God, you can talk about back-to-back, Florida and then Auburn. Both of those are on the road, aren't they?
That's funny because it's like we've got a home. That's our senior day game, Florida, but.
Oh, that's a home game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hopefully they'll relax more against Florida. And Alabama's schedule has just been killer, man. Even they were talking about it on ESPN. Man, it's a killer schedule, and it's like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, because that last bit, because tomorrow night we're going to be playing at Missouri, and then Saturday.
Like 15.
Oh yeah, Saturday we got a chance to sweep Kentucky. Mississippi State's covered our backyard nets Tuesday, and we got to go to Tennessee net Saturday.
That'll be a tough one.
Tennessee's so tough. They're so tough in the regular season, but they're not so tough in the postseason.
Yeah.
They're such a powder puff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not consistent.
Nope.
That's why you want to develop that consistency.
That's Rip Barnes for you.
Yeah. He's done a good job. Tennessee's still hanging in there. They're competitive every year. So.
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
A lot of good coaching in the SEC right now.
There we go.